Welcome to Thyroid and Autoimmune Revival. I am Naomi Suzanne from Naomi's Home Health, and I'm a holistic health coach that helps people heal with natural solutions from thyroid and autoimmune disease. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Monica from The Enchantress. So Monica and I met through, we will tell you in a minute, through doTERRA. Well, actually, we met through aloe vera, didn't we? And through the race, we were at the races and we connected because we're both very spiritual. And I was on a healing journey at the time. And I was just so drawn to Monica. She's an amazing woman. And she's somebody that I surrounded myself with while I was healing because she's so positive and amazing. And she has really good qualities. So I'll let Monica introduce herself and tell you what it is that she does.
Thank you very much for having me. It is a pleasure to share this platform with you. Well, I started on my spiritual path as soon as I finished school. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, it requires a very deep healing journey or a trauma or something that it definitely changes your life to awaken to all the beautiful spiritual knowledge that we have.
Yep.
And then after probably 15 years after I left school and I did uni and I did all the corporate world and all of that, I decided to turn my hobby, which was energy healing, tarot readings and yoga, into my business. And so I have been doing tarot readings, energy healings, and a little bit of I'm an author as well for the past 15 years professionally. And
Wow.
I have helped lots and lots of people all over the world discovering their truth and discovering what their etheric field, their aura, their light it's trying to show up in this material world, and just bring that alignment, if you will, into their lives.
Yes. Yes. Well, you definitely helped me because I know I had several healing practices with you because I just knew that you would help me find something in there that was going wrong with me because at the time when I met you, I was so desperate for help. And I remember how we started to work together was you invited me to an essential oil workshop. And I was like, I had used essential oils years prior when I had sleep issues, and someone had given me lavender and it made me feel sick and it gave me a
I
headache.
remember that, yes.
Yes, and I thought, I hate lavender, I hate essential oils. So I later found out why, and we'll go through that. But so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to this workshop to be a supportive friend. There'll probably be other people there that I know. She may have some wine and cheese. So I'm going to go and learn maybe a little bit about essential oils, but I'm not going to buy anything. So I went, and Penny was the lady who you were working with at the time, who I fell in love with. And she started talking about oils, and why I didn't actually resonate with the lavender and why it made me feel sick was because of the synthetics that were probably in it. Because she handed me lavender and I went, nah, I don't like lavender. And she goes, try this one. So I tried, like I smelled that and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And lavender is now one of my favorite oils. I use it all the time and I've never felt sick. I've never had a headache. And it has helped me with sleep. The one that I purchased from a naturopath did not help me sleep at all. So that is how we started to work together, because I started to use the oils and I'm like, why are all these amazing things starting to happen? And I was finding that they were working on me and the children. And I just said, how do I tell everybody about this? So I joined in with you and we started to work together and do workshops, and it just really took off, didn't it?
Yes, it did. It did. We always, well, we still have lots of fun sharing our passion for aromatherapy in how essential oils can really improve your life in many, many, many ways. I remember, yeah, when I met you, and this will have been many years ago, that you didn't even know that it was your thyroid that was playing a part on all of this. And I remember your journey into discovering, first of all, what was wrong, and that was a huge journey. I think that once you know what's happening, it is much easier to heal, isn't it?
Yes,
Unfortunately, there's so many people out there that doesn't even have the answers.
that's right.
All the mystery illnesses and all these mystery symptoms, and there is no answers.
Yes. And even when they did tell me that like I had the thyroid problem, they just kept saying, but your blood tests are normal. Just keep taking your medication, or they put the medication right up. And I started to have all these other symptoms, and I had no idea why. And they didn't explain anything about the health issue with me. They didn't explain the root causes, nothing. It was just like, take the pill, come back in 3 months. That was it. They'd weigh you and you'd get on the scales and they'd go, oh, you've gained weight. And I'm like, I know. Why? Like I was super fit, super healthy. And yeah, so basically, I think essential oils were part of my cleansing process originally. And I know that I rejected the emotional side at first because Penny used to talk about the emotional side a lot. And I'm like, why does she keep talking about this? I just want to know how they can physically help me. I don't have emotional problems. I don't
Yeah,
have
no, I
emotions.
remember you saying, I'm not into the emotions of the essential oils. I like more the science of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very much in the physical, very much in my masculine, as we were talking about earlier. doTERRA was a lot about the feminine energy, which is your healing energy, right? And your intuition. And I was more like the physical, the masculine. Just give me whatever oil is going to help this problem or that problem, or that was a physical problem. And doTERRA actually helped me with the balancing of that masculine and feminine energy and hanging around a lot of women and healing
Mhm.
people. So the support network that I had through this as well, and the education of different healing modalities and practitioners and things.
And not only that, we are so passionate about essential oils that we did so much research.
Yes.
I feel that the first 3 years we got into doTERRA, we did a master's degree on aromatherapy. We did so much. We were every day researching, studying. We did courses. This person,
Yes.
this other person. We took in so much information that I felt like after 3 years, I'm like, wow, I
Yep.
know so much about essential oils. I
We
never thought
did.
possible.
And it wasn't just through doTERRA. We did
Yes,
external,
totally.
independent
Totally. Yeah,
aromatherapy
we did
courses and
studies with
things.
a PhD on complementary therapy, specifying on
Yep.
essential oils. Yeah, we did a lot and a lot and a lot of
Yeah,
studies.
and I think that's why they get a bad rap, because people think that you don't have any education. And maybe some people who go into using the oils don't, but we did. And we made sure we educated our team and
Absolutely.
everybody that came to our workshops, we gave that knowledge too. And so it wasn't just like, use this oil and off you go, see you later. So, and I think now we can educate people on what essential oils are, because I didn't know what they were. Like, being part of the plant's DNA really, and that plants and humans share the same DNA. I would never have known that an essential oil comes from the leaves and the bark and the fruits, flowers of the trees, and it gets distilled down into a beautiful oil, and we use that oil on our bodies because it's the defense mechanism of the plant, right? So it defends the plant against viruses and bacteria and insects and all kinds of threats. So when we use an essential oil in our body, it works the same way in our body as what it does on the plant. So it defends us against the viruses and the bacteria and the fungus and all of those sorts of things. So that's why they work so well, as long as they are pure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also I want to add that flowers have this beautiful scent, and it might not be a defense mechanism, but the opposite, an attracting mechanism for
Yep,
pollination. So they are incredible for our power, if you will, of attraction, manifestation, that sensual and sexual energy. Even that doesn't have to be like with sensual and sexual energy coming from the sacral chakra doesn't have to be necessarily to have sex with
yeah,
millions of people. It's a power of creation. It enhances your creativity. It enhances that left part of your brain.
totally.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about how the purity of doTERRA and essential oils and the differences in different oils?
Yes, definitely. Unfortunately, there is not a lot of regulation around the fragrance industry. And that's why a lot of people, when you get into an elevator with someone that has a lot of perfume, you get a headache or you get really uneasy or nauseous. In fact, I'm actually planning to say in the message of confirmation when people books for a session with me to please avoid wearing perfumes because I get extremely overwhelmed by
Yep.
artificial scents. And before we got our nose tuned, I don't know if it happened to you, but before we got our nose tuned to pure essences, we couldn't smell the difference of synthetic to pure. Our basically sense of smell was actually contaminated by
Yes.
all these different chemicals. So what happens is that not every company creates essential oils in the same way, and a lot of companies, they have to be able to survive, dilute their essential oils with something else. It might be jojoba oil, it might be avocado, it might be coconut, it might be it's a different
Yeah.
carrier oil, and carrier oils have a different structure, molecular structure, than essential oils.
Yeah.
So what we are promoting today or sharing with you today, the knowledge of pure essential oils, which actually are very small molecules, and they have an incredible power, lots of them, to be able to break the blood-brain barrier, but to be able to rewrite what is in our limbic system, which is the center of emotions, the center of memory, which is directly correlated to our olfactory system.
Yeah.
And so the importance of us smelling something that it's pure, it's going to have a direct effect in our brain chemistry. And I feel that doTERRA, it's more than an essential oil company. It's a science company that happens to have a passion for essential oils. There is so much scientific research that goes behind each bottle, behind each oil. And in fact, we can even check at the bottom of the bottles the batch and see all the tests that have been done in that particular batch. They are public, they are for all of us to see. And also when you go and do all of this research on, let's say, PubMed or all these medical papers on essential oils, doTERRA is one of the leading companies that does a lot of research. So doTERRA, it's contributing to a lot of that research, but all of the research that has been done in the past has been done with very pure quality essential oils. So it's not going to be very beneficial if you are not sure of what quality essential oil that you're using, to go and do this scientific research and say, oh, well, this oil is doing this because it's completely different of
Yeah.
the chemistry of a diluted oil with who knows what.
Yeah. Well, some of them use alcohol to dilute it. That's where you
Yeah,
get that really horrible smell. And, like tea tree that you purchase from the supermarket, I always thought tea tree stung when you put it on an open wound. It's not the tea tree that's stinging you, it's the alcohol that they've put in it,
yeah,
because it's not even, and it can say pure on the bottle. The pure oil that is in it is pure. Like the oil that's in it's pure, but it's had stuff added. And I know that regulation says that you only have to have a 3% essential oil in the bottle to be class pure. So you could have 3% oil and the rest could be alcohol.
yeah. And I understand kind of the logic behind it, because as we know, using essential oils, they're not gonna last. They're aromatic volatile compounds, so they're not going to last all day in your body unless they are a very base note, like, let's say, myrrh or sandalwood or something like that. So they want to add alcohols to be able to stick them in your body for longer.
Yeah.
Like, I was so worried, I don't know, a member of my family, I don't know if it was my husband or one of my children, was wearing something. Oh, was a friend of my husband. I don't know, he stayed over for a sleepover, we had a party, and the next day he still smelled like his perfume. And I was like, mate, you really can't do that. It's normal
Yeah,
that you still have a scent the next day. You
that's
know,
right.
that's the amount of chemicals you're putting in your body. It's concerning my health, your health, and everyone else's.
Totally.
You're like
Yes.
a walking bomb type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and it's irritating. Like, and I know one thing I did love about doTERRA was that they harvest and grow all their trees and plants where they're native. So
Yes.
like we have tea tree, or if you call it melaleuca if you're in another country, tea tree, eucalyptus, lemon myrtle in Australia, lavender is in Bulgaria.
Sandalwood.
Yeah,
I
sandal,
know you get got
so
some
where,
sandalwood.
and that's where you're going to get the most pure and potent essential oil because it's going to grow where it's happy, right?
Yes, exactly. Like it is such a comforting thought of knowing that my essential oils are coming from very happy soil and that we are not polluting or other species or harming other species in the process. Because as we know, when we bring foreign plants into a soil that it's not used to them, they can kind of grow super
Yeah.
wide. Yeah.
Well, and too, also with the co-impact sourcing, where they have, like, they get a community that's already, say, in Sicily growing the lemons. They go and then they invest in that community. They make sure that they're paid well. They still use those practices. Like, they don't go in and bring in machines and whatever. They go, okay, we'll still use your practices, but we'll help support you. We'll teach the rest of the community how to help you with this.
Yep, it's definitely fair trade. And we have been witnesses. Well, I know you have traveled to these places and you have been a witness there face to face with the changes that the rights making in these communities. And that it's an absolute pleasure to be part of. And I know that I'm putting my money on something that it's actually been good for the earth.
Yes.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
So
and I'm confident it's good for me too, because you and I are the type, we only use things that are pure. We're very conscious of what we put into our body and the toxicity. And as you said, if you're using toxic chemicals, you're blocking your sense of smell. So you're actually, from blocking your sense of smell, which I did discuss on the last week's podcast, if you block your sense of smell, you're blocking the emotional center of your brain, that limbic system, which is in the middle of your brain. When you smell something, your sense of smell goes straight to that limbic area, and that evokes an emotion or a memory. Like if you smell, somebody said to me the other day, I love ylang ylang because it reminds me of my beautiful grandmother that loved me unconditionally. And it's like, yeah, because that evokes a memory and an emotion, like you love it so much. So the people don't realize the emotions and the sense of smell, how important it really is to not block that with all these chemicals. And when you reduce the chemicals in your life, your sense of smell is so enhanced. Like,
so enhanced,
yeah,
yes, yes, and so and gentle as well, and so beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
smell real things.
love that part of my healing journey. When we realize how we reduce toxins in our homes, in our body, and we still survive. But have been chemical free
Yeah,
for probably 10 years. Well, since we started our journey together, what
yeah,
was it, 10 years ago? We're already kind of in a toxic free type of journey to be able to be attracted to doTERRA. And so has been, and I'm still alive. I my kids are healthier than ever.
yeah.
We are healthier than ever. Like we are very lucky. I'm just
In this house, it's not grab a pharmaceutical, it's grab an essential oil. Like my kids are, it's good that you know that you're educating your children on natural remedies where you don't have to rely on a chemical or a toxin to have a temporary band-aid effect, where you have, peppermint or for a headache, or you got a tummy, something's going on in your tummy, we'll grab the digestion.
oh, I
Things
just
like
said, isn't that amazing? Oh my God, hands down.
it was my very first favorite oil.
Best
Easy
thing
Air
that
as
happened
well.
in my life and easier. So the other thing is, like, I don't have anything against pharmaceuticals. I just have something against the pharmaceutical usage and the use that it's being
Yeah.
now promoted in the world. That is one of my pet peeves. It's seeing children in pharmaceutical advertisements.
Yes.
And I hope that one day I can really be part of getting rid of that. But the thing is, like, when you use pharmaceuticals, it's like you always are gonna need more. Like, for example, if I have a headache and I have used absolutely everything in my knowledge that I have, and I still have the headache, I take quarter to half of a Panadol
Yeah.
and it's gone. It's completely gone. While someone that takes Panadol regularly, let's say every month or every week or every day, then they probably need, like I heard someone not long ago, it's like, I said, oh, do you have something for a headache? And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And looking through, because I mostly throw in the bin expired
Me
pharmaceuticals.
too. I don't even
That's
buy
my
them.
I have them there, but they go in the bin full and
Yeah.
expire. But I do have them there just in case. And so someone came and do you have something for a headache? And I'm like, I maybe have some Panadol. And they say, no, that doesn't do anything to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't think I have anything else. And they're
Yeah.
like, so what do you take? And they're like, oh, I take like 4 something, or like something like 4 Nurofen or something like that. And I'm like, oh my
Oh
God,
my
I'll
God.
die of an overdose, right? If I
And
take
that's,
those many. So
wow.
unfortunately, you get your liver, and it kind of, you just got to pile up. That's why, for example, for thyroid issues, they get, oh, you start on this dose, but then you got to increase it to this dose, and then you got
Yep.
to increase it to this dose, and then this dose, and then this, and then
And
you
then
get
you've
the
got
maximum dose.
cholesterol medication and heart medication and
Yeah, and then you need to start adding all the
yeah,
medications because you have reached your top and your maximum of the dose.
yeah,
While when you use alternative medicine and complementary medicine, which is what we are sharing today, complementary medicine, it is something that you, even if you take pharmaceuticals, you're going to be able to have that balance and not having to go
yeah.
more and more and more and more and more and more.
I remember when I first started, my ex-husband used to get headaches all the time and he would pop a Panadol constantly. And I remember the first time he used peppermint and I gave him the peppermint. I walked out, like I think I hung out the washing. I did something. I come back and he's like, what did you give me? Because that worked so well. And I think too, like, and then after a while, he just never had a headache again. But I think too, at the time I was reducing toxins. So I think maybe his issue with headaches was a toxicity issue. Because once
Mm.
we reduced toxins, he never had headaches anymore. And he's a drinker. So it's not like, like he didn't get them. I couldn't even tell you the last time that I knew of him getting a headache, but he was getting them very regularly all the time. And as a kid, he got migraines. Never had a migraine after this. Like, so I think that's where you can look at toxicity and think what it's doing to your body and your body's a headache is a sign telling you there's something wrong and I don't like it. If you're getting regular headaches, there is a reason. And we don't often think of the reason. We just pop a Panadol and we go, yeah, that'll do. And until the next time you get a headache, instead of going, let's look at why I've got a headache. Is it dehydration? Is it stress? Is it,
Sugar.
whatever,
Yeah.
food, anything? We don't do that. We just pop the Panadol and off we go, thinking
Without
it's fine.
questioning.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, that's probably why we are so threatened by probably the medical system, because we question. We
yeah,
question absolutely, but why? What are the side effects? But why do I have to do that?
yeah,
Essential oils are work as a teacher rather than as a monkey suit. It's just as a teacher, so they go along with you. They have the power to penetrate. Most of them have the power to penetrate the cell membrane, and they basically educate the cell on how it's gonna have to react to be able to be functional or functioning with the collective of cells. They go like, hey mate, shouldn't be inflamed right now. I'm
yeah,
going to teach you how not to be inflamed. And so when we heal ourselves through pharmaceuticals, all the symptoms are kind of gone, but the illness is still
yeah.
there.
It
So
just takes away your warning signal, right?
yeah, it just takes away all those kind of immune system kind of reactions. Essential oils work very different, and healing with essential oils, it's a little bit different because it's like, let's say that you have a cold and you use whatever people uses for a cold, I don't know. And so they take that and all of your symptoms are gone and you're functioning, but the cold is still very active in there. So with essential oils, what I feel is like, wow, the cold is still there. I can feel it, but I'm fully functioning. It's like
Yeah,
I'm working with the cold.
yeah.
I'm like,
There's no
yeah,
veil.
I am going along with this ride with the cold, with my essential oils, and we're the three of us together working in a very beautiful synergy,
Yep.
you know. So it's a very different feeling, especially when you're trying to get used to it.
Yeah.
Um, But
I think
I,
that's the problem. People are used to taking that pill and the headache goes away straight away, but like they're not realizing that you've still got that headache. You've still got the problem of what's causing the headache. And people don't realize that all these symptoms in their body, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, is just a symptom telling you a thyroid problem is a symptom of a root cause, telling you your body's not functioning properly. You need to address this. And addressing it doesn't mean covering it up. It means, it's like if you put a band-aid over a sore, like a cut on your hand. Underneath the band-aid is that cut still, right? You take the band-aid off, oh, it's still there. But, that's just hiding what's actually really going on.
yeah.
So,
Well, I think essential oils are very good at both. They hide a little bit the symptoms, but they are healing at the same
the
time.
reason
And
why
they
you
are
have the
healing from
symptom.
that root cause. And the best thing that I think about essential oils is that you are healing lots of different things at the same time.
Well,
You know?
that's exactly right. You're like, if I wear an essential oil as a perfume, I'm actually helping my emotional health at the same time. So if I put, I like Whisper sometimes or vanilla or and anything like that, I'm actually helping with my emotional health for the day. Or if I pop some lemon oil on, it's like uplifting and
That
invigorating and it's helping with
focus,
my
you're like,
focusing and concentration. So you can't do that with a pharmaceutical or a perfume.
oh, a perfume. Yes.
It doesn't
Yes.
actually have any other benefit. It has no benefit to you health wise at all. And I think that's why people don't realize that our sense of smell is so important to our emotional health. And oils aren't going to stop you being depressed or they're not going to stop the stress in your life, but they're going to facilitate the emotional response that you have to the problem. Like,
Yeah.
I remember when I gave elevation to a friend who was going through a really bad breakup. And I said, look, just put it on the back of your neck. And she got right into essential oils after that. She was like, what was that? It got me off the floor. It just got me off the floor and just took away some of that pain. Like she still wasn't doing well or she still had the problems, but the emotion behind it was just a little bit more balanced.
I
And
think, yeah, when we all go through healing process, it all sounds like so hard, oh, I gotta do all this, I gotta take charge of my health. Everything is so difficult, and we all know that the path that we have chosen of healing, it's not the easy one,
yeah,
like popping a pill and getting sicker is the easier path on the short term. What we are
yes,
doing is the more difficult path, but the one that is going to be beneficial in the long term. But I think that when essential oils came into my life was an effortless healing technique.
yes,
And I have been doing all this healing before essential oils came into my life, all different meditation retreats, meditation, yoga, Reiki, all of these different healing modalities. And then having a modality that does require nothing from me but pleasure,
yeah,
and I am still healing, was amazing. I had such an issue. This is such a simple thing. I had such an issue with doing housework, and cleaning for other people, and rah, rah, and that's an issue that I brought from a childhood because my mom made me clean for my brothers, for example, you know.
right.
And then I started adding bergamot to my cleaning products just because it smelled nice and it's a kind of a lemony nice flavor, and I had a lot of bergamot. So
Yep.
I started adding bergamot, and I loved it at the time. Adding it to my dishwashing liquid, added it to the mop bucket, added it to my dishwashing tablets, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I found myself enjoying cleaning. I was like, oh my god! And then I'm like, what's wrong with me? Then I realized that the bergamot had healed that part of myself effortlessly.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And like that whole sense of smell, you're smelling while you're cleaning, you know,
Yes,
essential oils, we can use them in a couple of different ways. One is aromatically. So you can just open a bottle and smell it from the bottle. You can put it in a diffuser and touch everybody in the room and they don't even know that they're getting this healing, that it's killing the airborne pathogens, it's helping people emotionally balance. And then you're going to put it topically on your skin and it goes into your bloodstream that way, or you can ingest them. Not every essential oil, obviously, you can't ingest, and you wouldn't ingest certain brands, but and this is such a topic of conversation that people get really upset about. Like there are people who, in France, they practice ingesting essential oils the right way, but over here in Australia, it's a no-no. But since doTERRA
Probably
come
because
along,
people, most people doesn't have the knowledge on how to do it safely and properly and all of
and
that.
there's not pure oils, like
Yeah.
there's not oils as pure, so you don't know what oils that when you just purchase one from a shop or a little nice little trinket shop and you get an essential oil, you don't know what's in that. So and with doTERRA, we know exactly, as you said, you can look at the batch number, you know exactly where they come from. It tells you on the bottle whether you can ingest it or not. And like we've been doing it for a long time now. We're healthier than most people that we know. Our immune system's really good. We fight off things. The kids are still alive. They've been ingesting essential oils, but we don't do it silly, I'm not going to go every day and pop 20 oils in my mouth. It's like, okay, today, do I have a little headache coming on? I'll pop some, maybe a peppermint beadlet, or I'll have On Guard in honey. And, we dilute them quite well. If I'm getting an immune system, something's wrong with, my immune system, or I'm getting a cold or flu. So it's not like we're just throwing down essential oils every day for no reason. It's a purpose, and we're treating something in the moment.
Yes, and if I have the choice between putting in my body an essential oil that comes from actually food sources, because that's the easiest way to tell if you
Yeah.
can use the essential oil, that comes from food sources, to a pharmaceutical. Well,
Well,
I'm
yeah,
always, I'm a very whole foods person, so I'm
that's right.
always gonna pick the more whole foods and the less ingredients and the most pure version of that can give me the same effect. So
Exactly. And,
yeah.
like I think too, like people are so quick to grab a Coke, a Red Bull, coffee, all those things that inhibit a lot of things in your body, your sleep, your stress, all of that.
I
But we
know,
can't ingest an essential oil. It's
I
like,
know. I remember one
come on.
time this lady, she was drinking a blue something,
Oh, my
and
least favorite.
I'm not never been into blue
Me
food.
either.
Yeah. And so she's drinking that blue, one of those energy
Like a
drinks.
Powerade or something.
Yeah, something like that. And then she's like, no, no, no. I have heard that you can ingest essential oils. I almost fell off my chair, like, oh, plop like that. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
She is drinking blue stuff, telling me that I can't ingest lemon essential oil. It's like, oh my God, this lady needs to be educated.
Yeah. And you know what? Some people don't want to be educated, and that's fine. But I think, it's about keeping an open mind. And
Yeah.
you are your own science experiment, right? So I would
Yeah,
never tell someone, quick, go and ingest that oil. It would be, let's start with the diffuser, and then it'd
yes,
be diluting it and putting it on your skin topically. Then as you're healing and you're detoxing your body, you can then
totally.
try and ingest.
Yeah, because if your liver is already overwhelmed with toxins,
Yep.
putting internal essential oils, it's gonna add to that overwhelm of your liver. It's not because the oils are bad, but it's because your liver has had enough of absolutely everything.
Everything.
You know, so
Yeah.
you need gentle healing. Essential oils are super powerful, and I would love, Naomi, for us to share a little bit about a few essential oils that we use every day, that I
Yeah.
use every day, well, not every day, but in a week, I will
Yeah.
use all of them. I think I have been definitely using, I go through stages, and I'm sure you do too. And at the moment, I'm in a frankincense stage.
Oh,
And I
I'm
have
always in a
been to
frankincense
frankincense
stage.
stage countless times in my life.
Oh,
But
yeah,
now at the moment, I am in a very huge frankincense stage.
yeah,
And for me, emotionally, this oil really opens you to see the truth and to be
does.
able to see what is happening in your life from a perspective of, from a higher perspective, is, if you will. And has been an oil that it's like, wow, I really need to be grounded. I really need to see the truth now at this time of all the beautiful things that I have around me. Um, and uh, and not only that, it's an incredible essential oil to repair
Oh,
your body. it's not the most antioxidant essential oil, but it is a very antioxidant essential oil, and it is so gentle that I dilute it with a little bit of jojoba oil, and I put it
Yeah.
around here, my eyes. Oh, I just
Frankincense is one of my favorites too. I've always resonated with it. I pop it on my tongue. It's like a headache remedy. I know my mum, she's always like, if you don't know what to use, just put frankincense on it, like little skin things, but the cellular repair that comes with it. And I remember Dr. Hill did talk on a scientific, he loves his science, and he did a talk on the DNA repair of frankincense and how it helps with apoptosis. Now, I remembered this from science at school. Apoptosis is cellular death. So obviously we grow cells constantly and they divide and then they die off. But when you have something like cancer, the cell doesn't die off. And this is how you get a tumor. The cells divide and then they keep dividing and they corrupt.
wrong information with the
Yeah,
wrong knowledge.
they
Yeah.
corrupt other cells around them. And so then this is how you get this tumor. And frankincense actually puts a barrier around these cells to stop them corrupting other cells and creating this problem. So this is why they've been using frankincense with cancer patients a lot. And, frankincense for the mind, for the brain, all of that, but emotionally, like the sleep and how to help de-stress and take that stuff off your mind and come into your truth. What about lavender? Can you please say lavender for me? Because you say it's so
Okay.
amazing.
I love lavender.
Lavender.
Lavender. Oh,
Yeah, it's the oil of communication, right? And calm, and helps also with focus and concentration, and that bringing the mind back down when it's racing. Lavender's
I
like a
think I use
peaceful.
lavender every day.
Yeah, me too, I reckon.
I have never been complimented so much about my smell since I started using essential
Me
oils.
too. And it's funny because I
Yes.
remember my son, he was staying at a friend's house and there was all these kids there and they'd been after school and they all went and got in the pool and they all had their school clothes there. And she said, I knew whose his clothes were because she could smell the essential oils on them. I was like, oh.
And that's one of the things I remember. One of the beautiful memories I have from Penny is the way that Penny smelled, because obviously we all have different favorite essential oils.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna smell a lot like helichrysum, while you probably smell a lot like whisper and
Yeah.
balance. So yeah, that's pretty funny.
Speaking of balance, it's also one of the top 10 oils. And it would, because I totally rejected the emotional side of essential oils when I first started. And Penny was like, if you get up in the morning, you put balance on the bottom of your feet. And I was like, oh God, I wish this woman would shut up about balance and emotions.
You love
But I didn't like the smell of it. I didn't want to know about it. And it's been since I started to work on my mental and emotional health through my healing that I started to resonate. I hated vetiver as well. And I
Isn't it
started to,
fascinating how that
yeah,
happens? How your sense of
really.
smell changes as you progress through your life. It's like, oh my God, like me with geranium. I
Yeah.
know the first bottle of geranium probably lasted me 2 years, and now I go through a bottle of geranium every 6 months,
I
I think.
think too, like, you're unconsciously blocking these things. Like, so I was blocking my emotional healing a lot. So all the oils that were very grounding and calming and bringing that down for me, I was just rejecting. I'm like, I cannot stand them. But now, like, I use balance a lot, a lot. Like, and I couldn't stand the smell of vetiver, but balance, it's got all those grounding,
Very
earthy,
much. Well,
woody oils in
Um,
it.
I don't use balance regularly, but if I'm traveling, I totally, any car trips, any like
Yep.
road trips, any boat trips, I
See, oh
go on
yeah.
a boat without balance.
Yep.
Airplane trips, like
Yep.
balance always goes with me on the carry-on. I
Me
have
too.
essentials in the luggage, but I also have essential. The emergency ones are in the carry-on,
Me
and
too.
balance is one that always is in my carry-on.
Yeah. My mum suffers with seasickness and she went on a cruise and I'm like, why are you going on a cruise? So I made her take
Balance
balance.
and digestion, yeah,
And I also got her to take Zengest, the
yeah.
digestive one. So she put those on morning and night and she never got sick. Now, her friend who also suffers with seasickness they were as a group of them. She works in a pharmacy and took all the pharmaceuticals and she was hugging the bowl all the way to Melbourne and back. And my mum was like, she just kept going to me, I can't, but like she got off the boat in Melbourne and she rang me straight away and she's like, I cannot believe I didn't get seasick. These are amazing. And yeah, well, her friend had all the pharmaceuticals and she was suffering badly.
That giving, having the options, it's so amazing,
Yeah.
that we have all of these different options. And I think that, for me, like I have been really thinking what it's being rich, like wealthy.
Yep.
What does that actually means to me? And to me, being wealthy, being rich, it's having options.
Yep. Totally.
And having all of these essential oils make me feel, no joke, $5 million. Because
Yeah.
$1 million these days in Australia doesn't get you that far, but it makes me feel $5 million.
Yeah.
I have so many options now. It
Yeah.
just opens up your world, doesn't it?
Yeah. And if you look at how I was, if you see photos of me years ago before I started using oils
I
and then
was even
my healing.
showing Charlie, and like you haven't seen Naomi for a long time because I think we left Jerrington many, many months ago, and he
Yeah.
hasn't gone back. And I'm like, you have to see a photo of Naomi, and he was like, whoa, okay, she has lost a lot of weight, and I'm like, yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And like I didn't gain weight because of food. It had nothing to do with that. Like, you know how I am with food. I'm a foodie, but I love good, healthy, whole foods. So it had nothing to do with that. And I kept on focusing on the food, but it was a lot to do with the emotional health. Like I've dropped even more weight since my divorce. Like it's the emotional weight. And you don't realize, and I started to use oils a lot more through that time to help facilitate my emotional healing. And I remember now I will grab an oil if I feel, stressed or something going on. And I gravitate to whatever I'm drawn to, I'll pick whatever I'm drawn to, which I think is the best way using your intuition. But, the weight didn't come off because I ate better at all. It came off
You have
because,
always eaten really good, but
yeah,
I think that it requires a trust on yourself, and maybe
yep,
when you are doing that healing and you don't believe in yourself much, especially that emotional healing, and you have so much trust issues with yourself, with others, you have all these
yeah,
these thoughts just pushing you down and
yeah,
all of that, you might not have that awaken of your intuition to be able to just grab an essential oil like we do now.
yeah.
So I think that also giving you these little tips of the essential oils that we love, like for example, let's talk about a little bit about peppermint.
I was going to. It's my other
How that
favorite.
opens up your heart and opens up indeed between lavender and peppermint. You start opening up your heart, your emotions, your intuition.
Yep.
I think one of my most favorite combinations still today, and has been for 10 years, has to be lemon, lavender, and peppermint. If I don't know
Wow.
what to use, like your mom uses frankincense, I use that lemon, lavender, and peppermint at equal amounts.
Yep.
That is incredible because it does like 150 things,
Yep. Oh, look, my favorite thing to do with peppermint, and I can't think Penny might have done this,
Are we
but
just gonna do a double?
yeah, so I put peppermint in the palm of
I'm
my
gonna
hand,
do it with magnolia.
1 drop of peppermint and 1 drop of wild orange,
Oh my god!
and you
Like
put it in the palm of your hand and you just take not too close to the eyes because peppermint will I've done that wrong before, but you just inhale and you can feel it opening up the mind, the sinuses, the heart, the chest, and it just you get this burst of like, and every person that does it goes, oh my
my
God,
most
that's
favorite
amazing.
party trick. That's my party trick.
Me too. And I used to do it at the start of every workshop. I would put a drop in everyone's hands. And, and then you look at the palm of your hands, that they're not real oily, like because they go
Don't have
straight into
carrot oil.
they go
They
straight
are
into the body. And you like it's delivery. Like when you use a carrier oil, the delivery is a lot better because you're not getting that
slows
evaporation.
down the delivery because it's tiny
Yes.
particles meeting bigger molecules, tiny molecules meeting bigger molecules, and they meet, so it's gonna
Yeah.
leave those essential oils in your body for a longer time. And I love to play with that. I go like, look, if I want fast, super fast relief on essential oils. And I need a lot of essential oils. Like, for example, I have a headache or I'm sick, I'm going to take them internally
Yes,
because
me
that
too.
is the higher quantity and the fastest
Yeah.
way. If I need a little bit, if I need my healing to be prolonged, for example, I have knee pain, I've been to the gym and
Yeah.
now my knees are sore, I'm going to use an essential oil and I'm going to put a dilution method, like a carrier oil in there. So it's going to stay on my knee for 4, 5, 6
Yeah.
hours. And it's going to get me through the whole day.
It's going to
You know,
lock it into the cells, the tissue. Yeah.
if the pain in my knee, it's right in the middle of my knee, so I know that the essential oil needs to travel, I'm going to do a layering. So I'm going to do probably like a neat essential oil to start with. I'm going to get some lemongrass or some frankincense, and it's very anti-inflammatory first in there, and then I'm going to layer it
Yeah.
with something else and a carrier oil. So then it's going to seal it in there. So I
Yeah.
have a bunch of oil going there right away, straight into the middle of my knee, and then I have more oil on the outside to last.
Yeah.
If kids have a cough, I am going to put the diffuser that lasts the whole night, so I don't have to wake up in the
Me
middle of
too.
the night. I'm like, I put the diffuser in there, and I know that I
Yeah.
have 8 hours of sleep, and they, most importantly, have the 8 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
without the coughing.
Well, the reason I love it going onto the palm of my hands, because when you've got a thyroid issue around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when your energy drops because your cortisol is dropping and rapidly. So when you put it on the palm of your hands, you're getting two delivery methods. You're putting it directly topically onto your skin to go into your bloodstream, but then you're also inhaling. So you're getting the sense of smell up to the limbic area of your brain, which is where you regulate your emotions, your behavior, your motivation, your memory. That's the limbic area, and that's directly connected to your central nervous system. So that's why your emotions can give you a physical issue, like you can feel sick or you can have pain because it's directly connected to your central nervous system and your limbic system. So yeah, what about lemon?
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I absolutely love lemon. I actually have different lemons all around the house.
Yeah, I've got so
One in
many
the
lemons.
kitchen, one in the laundry, one in the bathroom, one in the healing room.
Yeah,
I think I one of my most favorite things about lemon, it's the power of focusing and concentration
yeah,
that gives me, but also the cleansing that gives me.
yeah,
Just like grabbing a lemon and putting it in a spray bottle with some vodka, and
yeah,
just spraying that around my aura, spraying it around my bed. Spray that scent of lemon. It's so cleansing, but also what it does with your physical body, because people, and this is something that when people has a cold, they try to block the mucin, they try to block the snot coming out.
yeah,
In the snot and that runny nose, it's actually what it's carrying the sickness out of your body. That's the purpose
yes,
of it. And so what lemon does extremely efficiently, it's that increases that mucin, so it carries out the sickness out of your body much faster
yeah,
and much more effective. So
yeah,
that's why if I'm getting a cold, I'm gonna get into my essential oils as soon as I like, oh, I
yeah,
feel something is starting in there, so that mucin it's gonna carry. So there are some essential oils like lemon and eucalyptus that actually increase the mucin, and then there are some other essential oils that decrease the
yeah.
mucin.
They're a
So,
decongestant.
yeah,
Frankincense is another one, and it helps with the cough. It helps soothe the cough. I put them in honey. Like a lot of my oils
yes,
go
the
straight in
lemon
the
and honey.
honey.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
lemon. And I have my own honey here.
Oh
So
yeah.
I have the beautiful power of getting my own honey that we harvest from my cute bees. They're so cute. And put them actually a little bit of lemon essential oil and even on guard essential oil in that
Yes, I have several
honey.
jars in my cupboard, all different flavored honey. Ginger honey in my tea is delicious. But
So
the
yeah.
lemon too, it also helps you be present. Helps you be present in the moment. A lot of us thinking about the past, thinking about the future, what's going to happen, when we're not actually living in the present moment. So lemon helps give you that, like live in the now, basically. It takes you back to your intuition, not living in the fear and the ego, but lemon's beautiful for that. So I want to talk about easy air.
Oh my God.
because that was one of the first oils that
That's one
I,
of the oils that
yeah,
changed.
I remember my daughter, I'd only just got the kit and I got into bed and she was coughing and coughing and I was like, oh man, I'm going to be up all night. And then I thought, I think I've got something in that oil kit that I just purchased. So I put it in the diffuser. I literally put it in the diffuser, put it on, walked. By the time I got back into bed and laid there, she'd sort of stopped coughing and I'm like, no, no way. And she just had a good night's sleep and that was it. And I was like, what the hell? And then the next day she had a district cross country. And I put some just under her nose here. And then her friend that was standing next to her, I'm like, and she goes, what's that? And I said, you want some? And I just put it under her nose. Anyway, after they ran the cross country, now the night before, my daughter had been sick, ran the cross country, smashed it, did well, could breathe, all of that. The friend came up to me and goes, what was that you put under my mouth? I have really bad asthma and I haven't used my puffer through this cross country, and you need to tell mum. Tell mum what it is because I want
I
some.
remember that, yes. I
And I was
remember
like,
you
what
telling me
the
like,
hell?
wow, someone wants to join us because yeah, I think that that changed my life. Like I always have an unused, unopened bottle of easy air on the background,
Yep.
always. So I am actually scared of running out of easy air. And I have
Yes.
easy air, absolutely everything. I have easy air lollies, the easy air stick,
Me
vapor
too.
stick. I make the
Yep.
easy air shower bombs thingies that we
Yes.
make, you know, like, oh my God, my daughter actually had asthma. And I actually went when she was probably a baby, I went to 13 doctors. One doctor actually kicked me out and said, I'm not an naturopath. And because they, all of them wanted to put her on cortisone, like cortisone puffers. And I refused. So I kept doctor shopping until what I found one that gave me a better answer that I wanted to hear. And then, wow, we came across. I came a pharmacist that told me if she's got asthma, zero dairies. So
Yep.
once I removed the dairies out of her diet, we had a huge improvement. But once we use Easy Air, was just like,
Yeah, it's the oil of breath. And
oh,
it just opens up those airways. Like I know it's helped with people with snoring. We get some really great testimonies from Easy Air. But,
amen.
I know too, one of the emotional sides of the breath is grief. So a lot of us hold grief in our lungs and we don't realize. And I've had several workshops where people have said to me, oh, for the last few months, I haven't been able to take a deep breath. I haven't been able to breathe properly. And my first question is, have you lost somebody in the last few months? And every single person said yes. So one of my friends that came to a workshop, I knew her brother had passed away. And she said, I haven't been able to breathe deeply for the last 6 weeks. And I said, how long ago did your brother pass away? She goes, 6 weeks. Now, she took some easy air and it just took the tightening out of the breath. And, because when you grieve or when, you like look at a little kid when they're upset, they start to breathe through their mouth and they're like, and they're taking shallow breaths because that's a stress response, right? Breathing through the mouth is a stress response. So when we're grieving, we start to do that. Easy air teaches us to take deeper breaths, open up the lungs, and it helps relieve that tension in the chest area.
Totally, but even for moms that, very busy moms that feel choked
Yeah.
about the responsibilities of life, all the things that you have to do, feel choked by your kids, not even letting you go to the tour, new
Yeah.
moms, the kids follow you everywhere, or even relationships with your husband, it's possessive or on top of you, you really, really can start feeling that, oh, you can breathe, and then you can start making different choices with different perspectives.
Yes. Yeah. And the last one I do want to talk about is the Zen Jest. It used to be called Digest Zen, which I still call it that because I
Me
can't
too.
get Zen Jest into my head. But it is, it's got peppermint and lemon and all these beautiful like
Magic in a
ginger
bowl,
that, it's got that sort of aniseedy
maybe.
flavor. But
Mhm.
it's an oil that you can feel working immediately. You put one drop in a glass of water and you can feel it working almost immediately. So it's the oil of digestion where you lack that interest in life and where you lack to be able to digest what's happening around you. And we hold a lot of stuff in our tummy too when we're um not dealing with life, or, this is why some people go, I just feel sick all the time. Or, when you're stressed and you get that sick feeling in your tummy, Digestin is going to help ease that emotionally.
Definitely. And even for our listeners that don't mind having a drink here and there,
Mm.
a beautiful remedy. It's before you go to bed, if you have had a night of drinking, you put a drop of lemon to
Yep.
cleanse your liver, a drop of frankincense to get rid of any inflammation and headache, and a drop of digestion, and you wake up like nothing happened. But you can do that just with a drop of digestion, poof, just before you go to bed, and it's like, wow, the best hangover cure.
It is.
But I think that digestion, for me particularly, it's one of the most incredible supplements, healing tools, whatever
Yep.
you want to call it. It's magic in a bottle. It's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
When we just went to Bali, I made a roller to put on our tummy morning and night, because there's all people end up with Bali belly, and I put Digestin in it. I put oregano for that natural antibiotic to combat any real bad sort of germs, and On Guard. And I do that every day. We've not had Bali belly once, and we've been there a couple of times. So
Well, yes,
you know
it's really funny because I'm obviously an essential oil family, and we travel every 2 years. We travel with my husband's family, so we are usually a group of 16 people traveling every 2 years. And last time we traveled, obviously my whole family had that. The
yep.
digestion and the on guard constantly on the plane, on the airport, traveling. Everyone was sick as a dog, like everyone but us, the four of us.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had 12 people in bed when they came back, and we, the four of us, were like, nothing happened.
Yeah,
Perfect.
what's going on?
Perfect. So there was a common denominator in there because
Yep.
the four of us were using, and it's no coincidence, our essential oils are an incredible addition
Yeah.
to our lives. And I hope that they become an incredible addition to everyone's life.
Me too. I did forget to talk about On Guard, because it is the oil of protection of, energetic parasites and negative
Amazing.
influences in your life, but it helps boost the immune system and helps combat
Yeah,
all these
remove that
things.
toxic energy out of your
Yeah.
life, as well as any illnesses that are coming. I think that people by now realizes that we can talk about essential oils and aromatherapy for days. Hey,
Yes. Yes, and we can. But I want to discuss also that Monica is the creator of Oracle of the Essences. So it's a tarot. Oh, it's like a tarot, not, what are they called? Oracles,
oracles. Yeah.
um, that she created, and they are so beautiful. Like, this is the backs, and then we've got these beautiful cards here. I use these all the time. So if I want to know what oil I want to use, I give them a bit of a shuffle, and then I might just go, okay, what do I need? And I take a deep breath in, and then I open up, what do I need? I need mandarin.
Mm.
So then I go into my little book and discover emotionally why I need mandarin. And the meaning, if mandarin comes into your reading, like, there's a whole lot more of it, but at the end it says, if mandarin comes into your reading, you must unchain yourself from worries and stresses that are wearing you down. You have been carrying this stress for too long. It is time that you release. You release it into the universe and enjoy the little moments of your life. Find what is good about each day, knowing that things will be accomplished whether you worry or not. Find creative ways to be proactive. There are always solutions when you I think and act out of the box. And then there's an affirmation: the more I let go, the higher I rise. Well, that's very true. You can get them on Monica's website. What's your website, Mon?
It's at theenchantress.com.
There we go. So they are, and she's got loads of different healing things on that website, but you can book in with Monica. If you're on the Sunshine Coast, you can book in to have a treatment with Monica. I know I had several with her and loved every single one of them. If you have any problems, go to Mon. If you are interested in learning more about essential oils, you can contact one of us. If you want to start healing, you don't have to have a thyroid or autoimmune disease to start healing, particularly emotions. We all have had stress, trauma, drama in our life that we could start to be in touch with. So you can go to the link on Spotify. You can go to naomishomehealth.com. contact me on Facebook, Naomi Suzanne, Naomi's Home Health. Watch this podcast, share it, follow. And, you know, there might be somebody that resonates with some of this, but the emotional side of healing is so important. We can't stress that enough. And that's why we wanted to talk about that today with essential oils, because they're a great facilitator. So thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Mon.
you so much for having me. And I hope everyone has a beautiful and incredibly nicely scented day.
Me too. Thank you.